What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Cheeseboys NFL Podcast. I'm TJ, that's Sam, and we're going to be taking a look at the Week 2 matchups. We're going to be doing some pick'ems. There's a game tonight. This is being recorded on Thursday, as well as the Sunday games and the Monday games. So, Sam,
Yep.
how you feeling going into Week 2?
I'm feeling good. It's actually two Monday night games this week. I'm not sure if you
Yep.
saw that, the
Yeah, it
7:15
is.
and then the 8:30. Yeah, I didn't see that until I went to do my picks, but yeah, I'm excited. I think looking at the matchups this week, I think there's a couple good games, a couple good divisional games, so I think we should have some exciting football again.
And in terms of the pick'ems, like it's really like some games are hard for this week which normally indicates that we should be in for some good games.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I think honestly, I think you're right. I think there was definitely going through them. There was a couple games where I was thrown off. I didn't know who to pick. So I think it'll definitely be a tough week. So we'll see what happens.
And also you touched on it, but there's two Monday night games. How do you feel about them being like 1 hour apart? Are you a fan of that or are you not a fan of that? Because there's two different ways people can go. Because some people are like, oh, I like being able to watch like the end of one and then the end of other like back to back. But I just want to know your opinion.
I was gonna say I don't hate it. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. Like it'll be interesting to see kind of this weekend, like kind of how it goes. I forget the order of the games. Which one starts early? It's the Titans Bills is the earlier one, and then the Eagles Vikings is the later one. So yeah, I don't know. I think definitely both could be two decent games, especially in my opinion, the Vikings Eagles games. I think that's one of the matchups of the week for me, based off of last week. So yeah, no, I think it could be good. I think yeah, I like the idea of being able to watch the start of one and then kind of whatever red zoning for the second quarter or the second third and fourth quarter and first and second quarter of each game and then kind of watching whatever. So yeah, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. I'm kind of like I kind of agree with like that take of like, oh yeah, we get to watch, but at the same time I also just like I love watching football, so I also just love watching the game entirely through. And like I know like you can make the argument, oh, just like pull up two streams and like yeah, like that's probably what I will end up doing, but you don't get the full nuances of each game and just stuff like that. But anyway, so you wanna start us off? Which matchup do you want to pick first?
You want to start with the Thursday night game, the game tonight, the Chiefs Chargers game?
Yep, seems like a better place to start than any. Who do you
I feel like this could be one where we might have different picks because I feel like I probably picked a team that most people did not. I'm going with the Chiefs win.
The Chiefs, eh?
Yeah, so I'll do a little explaining. Like I think this game is the type of game that it's a flip-flop. I think picking either team is a good call. Like I don't think you can go wrong really. I think why I picked the Chiefs is I think they have a lot of momentum riding off the last game. I think they're gonna be coming in really hot and it's gonna be an Arrowhead. I think Arrowhead's gonna be rocking after last week. Like I think if you're a Kansas City fan coming into the season, I think the only thing you're potentially worried about is how are we going to be without Tyreek, and now you know you're going to be just fine. So I assume their fans are going to be kicking this weekend or this week or tonight. Sorry, not this weekend. So yeah, no, I think they have a chance to kind of show that they might still be the team to beat in the West, and I think they probably want to prove that. So yeah, I think I would take the Chiefs personally.
Two really good teams. Yeah. Both offenses are crazy good. I'm expecting a lot of points, even despite the defenses both being pretty solid for each team as well. Like, I mean, the Chargers defense in particular is really good, but
yeah,
I picked the Chiefs, bro. I took the Chiefs as well. I felt the exact same way that momentum's going to carry over into this week onto a short week. It's Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and now it's like I guess they just have 10, 11 different guys that they can throw to, including like receivers, tight ends, fullbacks, running backs. Like if Patty's just going to be spreading the ball without Tyreek and just it's pick what he can, pick what he can take.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough to stop. So although
Butker is out this week. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, is it Justin Reed? Is he kicking?
I don't know. I honestly I didn't look into it, but
he hit an extra point last week.
Dude, he was hitting like Did you see the kickoffs?
Mm-hmm.
He kicked
Over
one
the
straight through the
netting.
uprights. Yeah,
Over the netting, I think
over the
they
netting.
said.
Yeah, like it's a monster kick.
That's a crazy kick, but yeah.
So
So you said like I don't know. People might go both ways. I just feel like I'm sipping the week one Kool-Aid of the Chiefs, and I think they
I'm
look
with you.
really good on defense as well. And yeah, I just feel like they're going to be able to ride this momentum.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So I'll take you to the next game, bro. I want to hear about the Carolina Giants game.
Okay, so yeah, I took the Panthers. So
Explain.
here's my crutch for this game is I think that the Panthers front seven is going to win or lose this game for the Panthers. I think like if they can take a hold of Saquon and kind of shut him down and force the Giants to rely a little more on Danny Dimes, I think the Panthers have a really good chance of winning this game. If the Giants come out and they're able to just run all over the Panthers defense, and I think the Giants could potentially steal this one from the Panthers, but I think going into this game, my pick would be the Panthers. I like quarterback matchup. Like if you go through whatever defensive, like I would defense, I'd take the Panthers quarterback. I'd take the Panthers receiver. I'd take the Panthers running back. So I think as long as they're really able to just, I think the main chance the Giants have of winning is like Saquon just exploding off. And he had a really good week last week. Don't get me wrong, but I think if the Panthers front seven can just shut him down, then they'll probably win this game.
I actually went with the Panthers as well, and I kind of feel like you said, like if Saquon goes off, and there's definitely a path where the Giants win. Like this was one of those games that I was talking about where
Yep.
I thought it was really tight, a really like coin flip almost game, but I give the edge to how good that defense played last week in the Panthers, and also that they nearly won the game and Christian McCaffrey was not Christian McCaffrey. So
Yeah.
all this talk about Saquon's gonna like if Saquon goes off, well, what if Christian McCaffrey goes off for a
Yep.
Saquon game like he's easily capable of?
Yep.
So then what? You know what I mean? So
Well, it's a really good
I
point.
I feel like Christian McCaffrey will not repeat that performance again. He's going to have a big game. The Giants defense is it's gotten better, but I still don't think it's up to snuff. And I feel like you said, that Carolina front seven looks pretty damn good, as well as the secondary's young, and they made a couple mistakes in that game, but
Couple plays too.
couple plays too. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
So we both have the same picks so far. We both got the Chiefs and the Panthers. So maybe let's go to one where we might switch it up, bro.
Okay. You tell me where you want to go.
Okay, I want to go to Miami, Baltimore. Who do you
Okay.
got?
This one was really tough for me. I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this is going to be one of the 1 o'clock games that I want to keep my eyes on. I think it's probably a bit of a sleeper game. I think the Ravens probably come out with the W. It's in Baltimore. I think it'll be a really tight game, like I said, but I think the Ravens offense last week showed glimpses of kind of some really big plays and some explosiveness. And I think if they can kind of keep rolling on that and get that going, like I think whatever last week they got off to definitely a bit of a slow start against the Jets, but I think the Ravens showed glimpses of what their offense could be. Like Lamar with a really deep touchdown to Bateman. Duvernay had 2 touchdowns, I believe, and one was a pretty contested good catch, like kind of just by the pylon in the end zone. So yeah, I think the Ravens personally, I think they probably come out with this one. Tua looked really good last week. Don't get me wrong. Tyreek and Waddle both had really good games, but I think this one could end up being a bit more of an offensive show, even though if it's a tight game. And I think if it does turn into that type of game, I would rather I think Lamar has a better chance of kind of turning running away a bit more with the game than the Dolphins have.
I'm riding with the Dolphins.
Okay.
I'm riding with the momentum, like you said. I mean, Mike McDaniels looked like he had this, this offense clicking when Tua played great.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like Lamar sputtering early in that game versus the Jets, which is a much worse defense. I think that like Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, like these are guys who can get him rattled in the passing game, and if they turn it into just we got to stop the run like by any means necessary, that maybe those deep shots where it's a 67-yarder to Waddle, or it's a, like a deep shot to Tyreek, like those start to hurt a lot more when the one offense for Miami is like quick, quick, quick. And then Baltimore is like, struggling to move the ball. They have to run it. They have to pound it. So that's just kind of my thought process. I don't know. I kind of went out on a limb here. I kind of wanted to pick a dog. So they're my dog of the week. And yeah, I'm riding with Miami.
I don't think that's a bad pick. I don't. It was a tough game for me to pick. I like the Fins. I think it really, when it came down to me, it was just kind of Lamar versus Tua. Like I'd rather have Lamar, but yeah, I think both good teams.
Nah, bro, it's Mike McDaniels versus the world, and we ride with Mike McDaniels.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good. Yeah.
All right, bro. Patriots, Pittsburgh.
Okay, so I have the Steelers.
Oh,
in Pittsburgh, which Heinz Field is always like the Steelers are always going to have a bit of an edge when they're playing at home. They're one of the better home crowds.
You're betting against Belichick?
Yeah.
Belichick's going to go 0-2 to start the year.
I think he is. So here's what I'm thinking is I think that the Steelers defense and special teams, if they come out and have even a similar game to they did last week, I think they'll steal this game again. I think they're even without TJ. TJ, don't get me wrong, TJ Watt, like that's a big loss. But I think the Patriots are also on paper a much worse team than the Bengals. So I think if they're able to come out and compete with the Bengals with TJ and have as good as a game as they did, I think that they'll have a better game against the Patriots. I think Mitch will be able to have a bit of a better game against the Patriots, even if it is belly. I think like the Bengals, I think they could potentially have a very good defense. Obviously Patriots always have a very good defense, but I think like the Bengals are a very good team on defense.
I'm taking the Steelers as well, and I agree. Patriots always have a good defense, maybe defensive scheme, but the players are lesser this year than they've been in a while, man. They lost JC Jackson, like their secondaries like hurt, and
they showed it even at the end of last season. Like even at the end of last season, they started to decline, and then they lost more in the game. So
and I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure like they had a couple more losses on defense. So they're trying to find the young guys that fit in, and eventually Belichick will, and I feel like they'll be a solid enough team. But I took Pittsburgh as well. Yeah. Pittsburgh's gonna have that offense clicking. Najee didn't even have a good game last week, dude. Like that's what I kind of said about Christian, but I just feel like there's certain running backs where it's like, oh, if they didn't have a game, then the next game they're coming for that get back. Like, you know what I mean? They're coming for that game. So I feel like Najee's he's gonna have a great game. And I kind of just went with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
You wanna make the next choice?
Okay. All right. This is a game that it was interesting looking to me at the schedule. I want to know who you have. Commanders Lions.
You want me to go first?
I want you to go first. Ready? I am.
I wonder if we're on the same wavelength.
I feel like we probably are.
MCDC?
Yeah.
Okay, I went with the Lions. I kind of feel like the Commanders, yes, it was like a pretty solid game from Wentz. I mean, he had 2 picks, but he did have 4 touchdowns. The ball was moving on offense. Maybe the defense was a little bit like hurting without Chase Young, but I feel like they were in a dogfight against the team in Jacksonville that's still like not quite there yet. So I feel like that game you shouldn't really take too much like into account of like, oh, they like scratched out a win against the Jaguars. Like that might be more of an indictment than anything. We don't know. Maybe Jacksonville is a lot better this year, which they did add a lot of talent. Like I'm not saying that they didn't. They added Christian Kirk. They had a good draft, but still, I kind of didn't really find their game all too impressive. And then vice versa, the Lions, I thought, defensively it was a shootout, but like they showed some dog on defense and they showed on offense that they can smash the ball, DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. And Jared Goff started making some plays in that like second half. So I kind of just liked how the offense looked for the Lions, and I feel like they could replicate that. And I feel like on the other side, Washington isn't going to replicate like 4 touchdowns like they did against Jacksonville against the Lions. But
yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think kind of that was my main thing looking at it is I would almost say that scratching on a win versus the Jags is less impressive than like just getting beaten by the Eagles.
Exactly. Like it's kind of like that like every win and every loss isn't weighed the same.
Yep. No, I'm entirely there with you. The other thing that honestly kind of more swam me towards the Lions, and this might be a hot take that people don't like, but I think Wentz, when he's playing his best football, is obviously a better quarterback. But I think Goff is not that he's good, but is a slightly more consistent quarterback. He is. Like Wentz is he has his highs where he's playing really good ball and he's throwing the ball well and he's dancing around the pocket a little bit, but he's gonna have games where he's gonna come out and fumble twice and throw 2 picks.
Higher highs and lower lows.
Yeah, whereas Goff is, he's a bit more of a straight line. It's not a high line, but it's straighter. There's still some bumps, but
it's a stock that's at 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick, and sometimes it dips and sometimes it climbs,
but it's right around
there versus Wentz, which is like Bitcoin, like
it's jumping all over the place. Wentz is Bitcoin. What an analogy.
Hey, he's Bitcoin, bro. Sometimes you're pretty down bad with Bitcoin, and sometimes you're like, hey, I'm glad I invested in Bitcoin.
Sometimes you're making Super Bowls
because he's beating up Doug Peterson down in Duval County.
Yeah.
So maybe let's take this one to a divisional game.
Yeah, go for it. You got one in mind?
I'm looking at this Bucks Saints game.
Yeah, Bucks Saints game, eh?
Who do you have?
I think it's gonna be a walk by the Bucks. I think Saints scraped out a win against the Falcons I think Falcons are a better team than people were giving them credit for coming into the season. 100%. I think they proved that. I think it was kind of similar fashion to, in a way, the Lions game. Like, I think there's a lot of question marks, and I think they proved that. Obviously, still started the season 0-1, but they proved that they can fight in a game. Obviously, Falcons game was a little different because they came back on, whereas the Lions were coming back. But still, it was impressive to see the way that they came out and started that game. But I think the Bucks defense, even though Cowboys offense played like shit, let's not joke around. The Bucks defense looked good, nonetheless. They did. Yeah. And I think on top of that, I think the Cowboys defense is like it's packed, like it's full of studs. Like there's no joke around. And Tom came out and he put up, what was it? 19 points, 23 points, something around there.
19, yeah.
19. So, like, that's not terrible. Don't get me wrong. It's not good. But I think he's going to come out. Only 1 touchdown. And it was late. Mike Evans, it was a beautiful catch. But
poor Diggs.
Falling down. Yeah.
Not Diggs' fault. Stop the slander.
You can't. Well, I mean, you can't. There's. No one's stopping. I mean, a couple people maybe. But it's.
Oh, come on. Stop. Keep going.
Anyways, so yeah, I would say Bucks are going to kind of walk the Saints. I think, Saints definitely towards the end of the game. Michael Thomas came alive a bit more in the second half, had the 2 touchdowns, wasn't packing on the yards, but obviously still 2. They're a good team. But I think the Bucks are going to come out and I think they're going to walk them in New Orleans. I wouldn't be surprised if this was I think Tom's going to come out and take control of this game pretty quickly.
All right. So this is like you're picking and I'm picking. And at the end of the video, I might put up like lists of our picks and then we can keep a tally. Like every episode, we'll keep a counter.
You saying this makes me think that you're about to pick against me here.
So that's how we're going to do this, formatted out throughout the year. We're going to do this every week. And I'm talking because I don't really have much of a defense for my pick. Besides, I'm taking the Saints because Tom Brady can't fucking beat the Saints.
You're not wrong. Okay, that's fair. No, that's a good argument.
I know there's no Sean Payton, and I know this is kind of just like a goofy, like you have no evidence, like they didn't play well against the Falcons.
You do have evidence.
Like, everything, you do. Everything Sam said is true. Like I'm not, but I just have the he beat them in the playoffs, but when it comes to regular season, they're the first division opponent that has ever gotten the best of Tom. So I'm picking against you. I'm hoping I get ahead in the tally here, and it's hopefully going to be thanks to a Tom Brady stinker.
All right, there we go. Was that our first different pick?
No, I picked the Dolphins as well.
Oh, you're right. You picked the Dolphins. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far we got two different.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say I like the more different the better. I want a chance to go up here.
All right. So I think there is 2 more 1:00 games.
Yeah. So we have Jets, Browns, and Colts, Jags. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So where you want to go first?
I'll kind of take it first. I'm gonna go to Cleveland versus the Jets. I'm taking Cleveland. If Joe Flacco's playing versus that defense, I mean, I really just hope like the O-line holds up. Myles Garrett's gonna have a big game. I feel like they're gonna be able to smash mouth run the ball with Chubb and Hunt, and all fantasy owners are kind of like punching air because it's like, which one do you start? Because like Hunt got 2 touchdowns, but Chubb had more yards. Like you're just kind of like, damn, like it's a good problem to have if you were managed to snipe both of them, but not a good problem to have if you only got one. But yeah, I'm just thinking that they're a much better roster. They're going to beat the Jets, and I think it's going to be pretty handed.
Yeah. So here, I'm just gonna make this easy. I think these 2 last 1:00 games, I think they're probably both pretty easy picks. I'm with you right there on the Browns, so I'm just gonna take it straight to the Colts Jags. I mean, there's not much to touch on. I think Browns are gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty easy game. I think for the most likely. Sure. I don't really have much else to add. So I think same situation kind of in Colts Jags game. It's in Jacksonville. Obviously, I don't think that makes a difference. I think the odds that the Indianapolis Colts come out and play any sort of similar game to they did last week is super slim. I think they're going to come out and I think they're going to take over this game straight from the start. I don't think there's going to be a slow start this time. Like, I think they're going to come in hungry and pissed off after last week. Like, nobody likes, especially against arguably some people would have said potentially the worst divisional opponent in their division. Like I would say, like you can't start like that. That's going to piss you off. So I think they're going to come into Jacksonville hungry. And I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a very close game. I mean, Jacksonville, they had like glimpses of looking good last week in Washington. Kirk had the really big touchdown. Trev played a decent game. Defense had a couple big plays, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold up very well against Indianapolis.
I agree. It's going to be a Indianapolis offensive line and Jonathan Taylor running game that's going to do exactly what they did last week. Even though they didn't pull out the win there, they're going to do it again. And they're not going to have a slow start. Like you said, it's going to be more effective. Matt Ryan's going to have a great game and not have to throw 50 times. Like, it's just kind of like, I'm not saying that this one is like a 100% slam dunk as much as I felt like that Cleveland one was, but I feel like it's a lot more like it takes a like Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne super game in order for this to happen.
Yeah. See, actually, I would argue the opposite. I think that the Jets have a better chance of knocking off the Browns than the Colts do than Jack. I think Colts would be one of my secure picks of the week. I think Colts are going to come in real hungry. I love that roster. Right. I think Black was an anomaly for that team. I don't think it'll happen again.
And like I said, I took the Colts. I just said I didn't think it was as much as a slam dunk, but we kind of have different opinions there. But we'll move over to the 4:00 games.
Yep.
We'll do we'll stick with another division matchup. We'll go Seahawks Niners.
Okay.
What you got?
There's actually, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, is Falcons Rams at 1:00 or 4:00. I think there's 2 divisional games in the 4:00 window too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. So it's 4:00 window looks nice. But yeah, so Seahawks Niners, I'm gonna go Seahawks. I'm going to come in with a bit of a hot take. So I think coming off such a hot week, like I think the Seahawks again just could carry that momentum into another win. Like I think they could just somehow come in and rock the boat and steal a couple games straight off the start of the season. I think eventually it's bound to die out. I don't think this is a team that we're going to see suddenly stealing a wild card. Personally, that's just not. I don't have that much faith in them. But I think they could come out and whatever start 5-3. No, I'm something 4-2. 3-2, 3-1, somewhere around there. I think it'll die out fairly quickly, but I wouldn't be surprised to come in, see them start this 49ers game pretty hot again and takes the momentum from last week. And 49ers aren't carrying any momentum into this game. They went into last week, their rookie quarterback didn't look that great, which never feels good, especially or not rookie quarterbacks or second-year quarterback, first-year playing quarterback, but that never feels great on their confidence after having a bad, shitty first game. So, yeah, I have the Seahawks coming in here and knocking off the Niners. I think it's hard to really get a read on the Niners because it was the first week with Trey last week, and it was super shitty conditions in Chicago. So it's tough for any team to play in that. Yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to ride that wave into this game and start off 2-0, and Niners are going to start off 0-2.
Like we did not talk to each other ahead of time. Like it's crazy that we both picked a road team that going into the season might have been talked as the worst team, but I'm going with the Seahawks on the road.
Yeah.
When Elijah Mitchell went out of that game, the offense really went stagnant. And like you said, maybe that's conditions. They weren't able to throw it, blah, blah, blah. They didn't have George Kittle. I'm not sure if he's back, but I feel the same way. I feel like kind of how I feel about Pittsburgh. It's like if you play your style of football, like they can beat almost anybody besides those teams that have those true like difference makers. But I'm not sure if Trey Lance is one of those true difference makers. Like so,
we didn't see much of it last week.
We didn't see much of it last week. We'll have to kind of we'll have to see where it goes from here. But yeah, it's definitely one of the more interesting matchups. But we both went with the Seahawks, the road division opponent.
I'm surprised. I thought that was going to be a bit of a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. You want to go to the Texans versus Broncos?
Sure. Yeah. You want to take it there?
All right. I'll just say this is, I feel like, a quick one.
Oh boy. I feel like you're about to say some stupid shit after starting it like that.
Really?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I feel like are you about to come in and be like, oh, I feel like this is a quick one. Oh, Davis Dougie Mills is gonna steamroll the Broncos.
He is.
Oh. Okay, explain.
No, I can't keep a serious face. I am taking the Broncos. They're going to come in.
Okay.
It is a quick one because they're going to come in. Russell Wilson's not losing back-to-back games. He's in front of Broncos country. He's in front of Broncos country. So
that's rad.
Like he's got to take the dub. They're 10-point spread, 10-point favorites. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be it should just be an easy dub. Like I don't really feel like it needs too much. We don't gotta take up too much time.
I got nothing to say about this one. Broncos.
I love Davis Mills. He played so well in week 1, and he's gonna play well again in this game. But I feel like it's about to be like an explosion. Like the offense looked good at points, but they got stopped on the inch-yard line twice, I believe, in that game. They fumbled once and didn't get it on 4th down the other time. So that's not going to happen again for the Broncos. They're going to put up 30-40 points, and they're going to put on an offensive explosion. So
yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I don't feel like there's too much to say. I think the Broncos just have too much offensive power, and I don't think they're going to play. I think similar, like the Texans squeaked out a tie last week because the Colts played like shit. And I don't think the Broncos are going to come in here and play like shit. So
not after they just played like shit.
The week especially before against to the Seahawks. Such a bad team.
And the fuel from Pete Carroll getting it, the 12s getting it against Russell. So yeah.
Here, I'm gonna go quickly to. I'm gonna transition to another game that, in my opinion, is kind of a similar game to this one, the Falcons-Rams game. I think in LA bounce back game. I think it's a very similar type of script. I think the Rams are gonna come in. And I think they are gonna. Not that I think Falcons proved that they're a pretty good team last week, but I think there's a good chance the Rams are gonna welcome them to LA in a very rude way. I think the Rams are gonna be on one this week, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty big blowout. I think it'll be fairly convincing. So I don't know. Yeah,
I'll just say unless unless something goes drastically wrong with like Stafford and he just like gets hurt or something, like they're not losing back-to-back games. Like
No.
they're not like
No.
not against this Falcons team. Like,
No.
I'm sorry, Falcons fans. Like, you guys played really well week 1, and I hope you guys like play competitive all season. But the Rams are a different class. They have a different class of players. It's gonna be, I think, like you said, the similar script to what we said in the previous pick'em. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the Broncos come off a tough loss.
Coming off a tough loss,
But the
going
Rams
back
lost
home.
to a good team too, so they're gonna be like extra motivated. Like, we gotta put in the work, we gotta get this done. Like, we were champs, but no Super Bowl hangover. So
Bills beat them in LA last week too, so that's gotta just rub a little extra salt in the wind.
Exactly. Well, bro, I'll take it to maybe the most interesting 4 o'clock window game, the last one.
Yeah.
Raiders and Cardinals. I kind of want you to lead this off, bro. I want to hear your take.
Yeah, I can do that. Wait, but I think you missed one 4 o'clock game there, buddy.
Which one?
Bengals Cowboys.
Oh, I did.
We'll do that one last. We'll do Cardinals Raiders. All right. I think, well, honestly, I'm fine to go into this one after last week because I think this one is another very similar game.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction for this game is it's going to be probably pretty similar to the way the Raiders or the Chiefs Cardinals game was last week, but instead it's going to be a little bit lower scoring. I'm gonna guess somewhere around 35-10 Raiders. Like, I think the Raiders defense is gonna shut them down. I think their offense is gonna blow up the Cardinals the same way that the Chiefs did. I don't think Carr will put up quite similar numbers, but I think it's gonna be a lot of Devontae Adams, hopefully a little more Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow, and
not enough new Hopkins.
No.
And that's what the difference is. I feel like I'm on the same boat. Like, the Raiders offense is gonna keep cooking. I don't think he's gonna throw 3 interceptions like he did. Like, that Chargers defense is good. Like, they have, they got the guys, Asante, JC, Derwin. Like, it's tough. Like, he's not gonna do that again. He's got the weapons. They barely fed Hunter Renfrow. Like, they're gonna get him involved. Like, yeah, I feel like they're really going to win this game, but it's down bad for the Cardinals. They might be staring down like a tough season. Like, if they start off like 2-4 or, like something like that. Like, I'd have to look at their schedule, but yeah, bro, it's going to be interesting.
Tough start to their schedule. Starting off with Chiefs and the Raiders and stuff.
So, because you insisted on catching me on trying to avoid the topic, the Bengals are going to murder us, bro.
Okay, yeah.
The Bengals are absolutely going to murder the Dallas Cowboys, starting at 425 and estimately at 8.
No, man. I don't think it's going to be.
No.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I think your defense actually has a chance of holding the Bengals like a decent amount. Like, I'm not saying you're going to win. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I think you held the Bucks to 19. You can hold them to 20.
I'm not saying our defense is bad. Like, that. You know how I feel.
It's going to be 20-3.
I don't know about that though, because I'm a lot more worried about Cooper Rush throwing like interceptions and Dak, like, he obviously didn't look good either, but I'm a lot more worried about just turnovers happening with our young O-line where Cooper gets sacked and he fumbles the ball. And Joe Burrow is going to be like so mad. Like, I just feel like they're going to be so mad about how they played that they're going to be like executing, firing on all cylinders. But I agree. Like, I don't think they're going to, I don't know if they're going to murder us, but we're not going to be very good on offense. They're going to be pretty good on offense. We're going to be good on defense. They're pretty good on defense.
I think Bengals.
Maybe you're right. Win. Maybe more, like, my prediction would probably be more in the range of like 33-10, maybe like 36-10.
I could see 10. I'm gonna guess like 27-10.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I like I said, I see the potential for this young O-line to get beat and to have Cooper Rush, who hasn't dealt with like being sacked 8 times, 9 times.
Maybe the defense rallies. Maybe your guys' defense comes into this game and says, you know what? No Dak Prescott. We got to win the Cowboys a game. We got to do this ourselves.
Yeah. like I said, I believe in our defense. I mean, Ron Curse being out is a huge hit as well, but Trayvon and Micah and like they can steal games, those guys. Like
Yeah.
they're X factors. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it's pretty clear. I believe they're 10-point favorites as well.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Cooper Rush, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say no Dak, I guess.
In AT&T Stadium, the Bengals fans, get your tickets because I don't know how many Cowboys fans are going to show up.
Cowboys fans are already trying to sell their tickets.
Now let's get to
Sunday Night
your
Football
team, bro. Let's get to maybe one of the bigger upsets of the week
from last week.
Like no, one of the bigger upsets that's going to happen this week.
Oh, you got the Bears, eh?
No, the 0-1 Packers are going to beat the 1-0 Bears, division leaders.
Like, I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I see you. So yeah, I got Packers. I think I assume we're gonna come in, and I don't think it's gonna be like a blowout type game. That's typically not how divisional games are often. Like I think sometimes they can be, but especially Chicago versus Green Bay.
But does he not own them?
Well, that's what I was about to say. But the reality is Aaron Rodgers does own the Chicago Bears. So, like, I think we're going to win this game, and I think it's going to be pretty convincing. I don't think it's going to be a 42-7 game, but I think we'll come in and we'll have a pretty good handle on this game throughout the entire time. I think it'll be a much different looking Packers offense than we saw last week. A lot more control, a lot less misrun routes, a lot less like mental mistakes and like actual mistakes, like dropping wide open touchdowns on the first play of the game or first play of our offensive game. So like shit like that, we just need to cut it out. And I think the defense all around, like we're going out against, all jokes aside, a much worse offense in the Chicago Bears. So like Justin Jefferson alone could probably take on the entire Bears defense. So I'm not that worried about it. I feel pretty good.
It took a natural disaster almost in that storm for the Bears offense to be able to beat that Niners team. So I'm gonna chalk it up to the Packers got this one. The offense is gonna at least start clicking, and even if it doesn't, they're gonna be able to run the ball. That offensive line is still not great. Rashawn Gary's gonna have a much better game. Kenny Clark's gonna eat. Like everything will be okay, Packers fans. Like you're gonna be 1-1, and we can all calm down. Hopefully the receivers get on track, but even if they don't, I feel like you guys can win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think even if whatever Rodgers comes out and throws the ball for 180, 200 yards, I still think we have a very good chance of winning this game just based off our running game versus their, like, I think our running game alone, if we just ran the ball the entire game, we might still have a chance of beating the Bears.
Yeah.
So I'm not that worried.
No. All right. Well, I feel like we'll get into the Monday nighters now. So I feel like one's pretty quick. Do you want to get that one out the way?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the Titans absolutely killed the Bills.
Bills
looked shit last week. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
Bills MVP.
No, Derrick Henry MVP. Come on, don't get it twisted. No, I think the Bills are gonna come in. I think this is the Bills.
Better offense, better defense, better team. Like the Titans just look so. The Titans are just so uninspiring, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I just feel like this is one of your locks. Like even though it's a good team, I just feel like they're kind of just like it's the Colts division this year, in my opinion. But
I think the Bills also potentially showed last week versus the Rams that they are the best team in this league until someone can beat them.
And I think proves it otherwise.
If they come in and they play their even 80 to 90% of their best football, almost every single team in this league, most games. Like obviously teams steal games, people have bad games, it happens. But I think if the Bills are playing their best football, I'm not sure there's a team that can beat.
Yeah, for sure.
Home opener in Buffalo too. Like I think the Bills got this one pretty chopped up. I think Josh Allen.
I don't really got much else to add. Yeah. Josh Allen and now Gabe Davis is a guy with Stephon Diggs. Like That
What a
defensive
number
line was
two.
crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just going to win. That's why I said it was quick, even though the Titans are still a good team. Like, Titans fans, don't get mad. We just feel like the Bills might be on that upper echelon this year.
You guys also lost to the Giants last week, so I'm not sure you're a good team.
Yeah, fair. You have to ask questions after the losses like that. Vikings versus Eagles, our last game of these pick'ems.
Oh boy, you want to start us off? You want me to start us off?
You can start us off.
So I think part of me might just be biased that I'm really hoping that this happens.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
But
I'm happy you started this off.
I'm gonna take the Eagles. So to me, this game is potentially the biggest coin flip game of the week. I think this could be the game. Like I think this Monday night game could be a very fun game to watch. I think it's gonna be really tight. I think there's the potential to be high scoring. I think there is definitely a chance that the Vikings could take this game and walk away with it. I think if the Vikings come out and play the exact same game they did last week and the Eagles come out and play the exact same game they played last week, I think the Vikings win. But I think the Eagles have a chance here to really look at their defense after last week. Boys, we got to take a step up. And if we do take a step up, we have a good chance to win some games this year. Yeah. And I think the Eagles defense with the guys that are on that roster, like I think they're more than capable. I think we didn't really see that big of a game from guys like Jordan Davis, like, you know, new guys. Like, so I think the Eagles defense, if they take that step forward and play like the Eagles defense that was so hyped up and that we thought we were going to see going into this season, then I think they should win this game. But if they don't and they play like last week, then I think the Vikings will win this game. But I think probably me hoping that they do and me thinking that they potentially can gives me the edge to the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, you kind of touched on it, and that's what I'm going to go into is just that I feel like the Vikings played really good last week on defense. I feel like the Eagles didn't play good on defense, and both offenses played well. I feel like Justin Jefferson is going to explode this Vikings offense with McConnell at the helm as the new head coach. It seems like it's going to be Rams kind of 2.0, Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, and that offense looks like it's going to click. I know a Packers fan might be down bad, and it might seem like I'm biased and not picking the Eagles, but I feel like the Eagles did not show me that their defense is any good, and now you have Jay Jettas coming into town.
No,
and that might spell trouble for you versus I know the Packers, like wide receivers, their weapons, blah, blah, blah. But the Vikings looked good last week on defense. I mean, you can say what you want. Like, obviously the Packers did not play their best game, but you can only play what you're given played against you, right?
And their defense looked like studs last week.
What they were showed, they shut it down. So yeah, I'm going with the Vikings. So we had a couple of different picks. I'm gonna probably pop up some lists somewhere. right here somewhere, and we're gonna tally these up. You know, we'll add them up, and maybe we'll place some sort of bet on it. We'll come up with that over the next couple of weeks. But yeah. So I hope my teams win and Sam's teams lose. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can check out more of NFL podcasts, NHL podcasts on Off the Post Sports on YouTube and on streaming platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this episode, thanks. Share it with a friend.
This has been the Cheeseboys. See you guys.